Hello everybody, I'm Soleil and I'm the founder of Global Fab Friends, and I'm also a women's self-empowerment coach. And I am so delighted that you're joining me tonight for this live webinar, this live web stream. It's the first time I've done one, so woo, you're here with me, helping me to do this. So big welcome to you, and thank you for being with me. It always is a great privilege to, and it gives me a great sense of joy to spend time with you. And so I want to thank you for being here with me and taking time out so that you can focus on you. And this is a training session. So I'm going to be sharing with you some self-empowerment pieces, and I trust that they're going to be of significant value to you. And that's going to remain for the, obviously on this time we have now, but it's going to serve you over the coming days, weeks, months, and who knows, years as well. So I'm really glad that you're here. Today things can change for you. And I don't know whether it will be as you listen to my inspired downloads, which I'm going to be sharing with you, or afterwards, as you reflect back on this time together. But it is my desire that this training session can open you up to transform your own situation, however it is for you right now. I believe that you can truly create the life that you desire, and that as you're on this training call with me right now, you're on the verge of creating something very powerful in your own life. There's always something a little significant about the beginning of a new year. Would you agree with me there? And even though we know that every day is the start of a new beginning, somehow when collectively we're all together and we're all experiencing the start of something new, there seems to be a bit more magic and power about it. And it's my wish that you feel into your power, that you feel into and listen into what your soul is sharing with you, and lean in to what I'm sharing that resonates with you, and let it germinate within you so that you can blossom during the coming days and weeks. Give yourself the best opportunity to make a shift by giving yourself this time without distractions. So if you've got Facebook, I suggest that you shut down your emails, and have a notebook and pen so that you can write any notes down that feel they resonate with you. Or if you'd rather just absorb this and take it in and perhaps listen to the replay and take your notes then, that would be perfect as well, because there will be a replay. So towards the end of this training, I'm going to be sharing an opportunity with you, which is really kind of like the part 2 to this session that we're having right now. And of course, if you've got any questions that you would like to ask me, then please type into the little box that you can see on your screen now. And then towards the end of the session, I will be answering your questions live. So, let's get on with it then, shall we? So I wanted to ask you a question, well, a few questions really. Do you find yourself in a loop of projecting self-negative retrospection onto yourself and onto others? And does it feel like this needs to stop so that you can propel yourself forward towards the life that you'd love to create? And it does need to halt. It does. You see, what you think about yourself, whether it's conscious thoughts or subconscious thoughts, creates your current sense of reality. And if you feel that you're riding on the crest of a wave right now, and that what you touch turns into gold, then you are aligned to your thoughts and your actions. So keep on going, keep on going, keep on doing what you're doing. But if you're feeling like you're wading through treacle, that it's just not happening for you, and you're in this perpetual cycle of self-doubt, doubting yourself, then I am so glad that we're sharing this time together right now, because I want to help you. I want to help you unpick some of what might be tripping you up. And it could be that you've experienced highs in the past, that you've taken leaps forward, that maybe you moved into a better home, maybe you relocated to a different part of the world, maybe you attracted your ideal clients, maybe you've created some fantastic success in your business or something like that, and yet now something seems to be blocking you from what you'd love to do, have, or become. And I want to reassure you that that is quite normal too. Life does take us into seasons. There are polarities, cycles. There's night and there's day, darkness and light. And acknowledging that you can make small changes can create the tipping point into bigger, more empowering changes. So I would love to do something with you now. Trust me here. I would love to invite you just to close your eyes, because we're jumping into some of this already, if you hadn't already heard. I'd like you to shut your eyes now. Your eyes shut. I'd like you to take a deep breath in, and I'd like you to hold it just for a moment, and then let it go. Keep your eyes closed. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And I would like you to smile. Great big cheesy grin. Keep your eyes shut. And I want you to feel how good that feels, just to take some time out of your day right now, just to be fully present with me. Okay, keep your eyes shut. This is your time. Your time to live a beautiful life. Your time to tap into your own truth and live a life of freedom and joy. Your time to role model to others what is possible through you inspiring them with your actions, your inspired actions. This is your time. It's your time to receive and to give more. Your time to make choices that serve you. Your time to make a bigger difference. Your time to love and appreciate being you. Your time to be who you came here to be. This is your time. And you can create it. Yes, you can do it. This is your time. Take another deep breath in again. Hold it and then let it out. Smile, it's your time. And then I'd like you to open your eyes when you're ready. I feel better already. And I trust that you do too. So, as you may already know, I've been a successful coach for the last 6 years, working with women internationally to raise their self-confidence, to create the life and sometimes the business that they love. And what I've noticed through my experience is that no matter what new opportunities or fabulous inspired ideas they believe they have what it takes, don't think they're experienced enough, don't think that they deserve it, don't think they know enough yet, don't want to rock the boat, they don't want to upset someone, if they don't feel that the time is right, if they feel that they are not young enough now, or maybe they're not old enough yet, or maybe they think that they're not attractive enough, or maybe they don't think they're thin enough, or maybe they don't think they're fit enough, or perhaps they don't feel that they've got enough energy, or they feel that they don't have enough money. The list really does go on. Then sadly, they just disqualify themselves from what could have been their biggest breakthrough. And often their excuse becomes their regret. And it's the thing that they start to beat themselves up about. They replay in their mind what's happened, and why they didn't do it and why they couldn't do it, and maybe what she said or what he said. And through that process, they further disempower themselves. And they get stuck in that story, that perpetuating story. Now, we've all done this. I've done it too. And I want you to know there is no judgment here at all. Okay? But really, seriously, what a bummer. It doesn't need to be this way. And I wonder if any of that resonated with you. I've helped my clients to relocate to new parts of the world, places that they've longed to be, longed to live in. I've helped others to make the decision to, pack up their homes and move to new areas. I've helped clients to fall back in love with their partners. How great is that? And what a privilege. I've helped some of my clients to let go of relationships that really weren't serving them. I've helped some of them to find new ideal clients, and some have got married, which is always great. I love getting a new hat. And I've also helped some to start businesses or to kickstart businesses where they're feeling like they've just plateaued out. I've also helped some of my clients to take long vacations, those vacations that they always wanted to take, but somehow didn't give themselves permission to go for it. And what they've discovered about themselves has been phenomenal, and it's been a joy to watch them. And I've also helped all my clients to raise their confidence, their self-esteem, and to fall back in love with themselves, or to fall in love with themselves for the first time. Because to me, that is very much the key to your success. And I wonder, what is it that you desire? What is it that you would absolutely love to have for your life? What are you looking forward to creating and bringing into your reality at this time? And how do you feel about it happening? Does it feel possible? Does it feel doable? Can you feel now what it will feel like as if it had already happened? Because that's really crucial. Many years ago, I remember I felt totally lost in the world. I was divorced with 2 young children. My health was dreadful. I have a childhood condition which was causing me at that time severe pain and lack of mobility. I had no cash, I was seriously in debt, and I was struggling to pay my mortgage each month. And I was maxed out on my credit cards. I was really afraid. I was scared. I'd started a business which I no longer desired to. Depression had set in, and my stomach was in knots every time I thought about my money situation. My parents were in despair of me, and they thought I should just get on with it. And it felt really, really dark. I felt powerless. I just wanted to sleep, curl up under my warm duvet and hibernate. And at other times I actually just wanted to opt out completely. But there were other times too where, I wanted to shift my situation, only I just didn't know back then how to do that. I didn't really like myself very much, and I often found myself blaming others for the situation that I found myself in. And I was stuck in that story. I was going round and round in my head, and I was also replaying it to anyone who would care to listen to me. I really needed to make a choice. And one day, I was sat on my sofa in my living room, and I was feeling really sorry for myself. And I remember thinking, is this it? Is it always going to be like this? Is this my life? And then I thought, no, this isn't how it's meant to be. This was never the dream as I was growing up. There must be more to life than this. And that was a mantra that used to run around my head years before. There must be more to life than this. And I made a decision that afternoon that if others could create the success that I perceived them to have, if I saw others who were happy, healthy, living abundant lives, then why not me? And I would like to ask you, why not you? If that's something you feel you're missing out on, then why not you? You're meant to have that too. But it didn't happen overnight, because that would be kind of unrealistic, really. Obviously, things do take a little bit of time. But I would say by making a conscious choice, maybe hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, I began to transform how I saw myself and how I felt about myself, how I saw my world and how I saw myself fit into the world. And I started to do something that I hadn't done before, which was to really dream, dream of what I would like to create in my life. Dream bigger. Imagine what my life could be like and how I would like to be living it. And so, in order to pay off my debts, I sold my dream home and moved into a small flat. I took on a part-time job, which was great actually, because it got me dressed up, suited and booted and out there in the world again, and introduced me to new people. And I couldn't avoid the phone then. So it really took me out of my comfort zone. It gave me a kick up the bottom, which is exactly what I needed back then. But I was working with a friend, so that helped as well. And through the job and through my willingness to change, I created a new peer group of friends around me. And I delved heavily and deeply and happily, joyfully into the world of personal development and self-empowerment. And I knew that I couldn't make the transformation alone. So I invested at a high level with a coach who helped me to find my way forward. And since then, I've embraced my gifts, retrained, created a successful business, Like I say, I've coached hundreds of women around the world to live their inspired lives, and I've been well paid to do that. I've become a speaker, inspiring others, which is always a joy. I've been coached and mentored by some of the world's leading mentors, and I've leaned deeply into the work of Abraham Hicks. I've enjoyed a happy relationship with my partner for the last, well, just over 5 years now. I've supported my daughters to create a business and a lifestyle which lights them up. I've traveled the world extensively, which is, it's one of my values, a sense of freedom and enjoyment. I've given wholeheartedly to charities that I am passionate about, and I've got involved with Kiva and assist women all around the world with microloans. And my health has improved as well, which is great. And my calling and my passion is helping and serving other women to do what lights them up, to free them up, to give them that sense of permission and freedom to see themselves as they really are, as I see them. And that's why I'm really happy that we were on this call, well, this live webinar right now together, because this is what I desire for you too. So that's a little bit about me and my journey. And let's get into some of the topics that I said I would share with you tonight. So the first one really was about being a good girl, and how being a good girl doesn't get you what you desire. And it's time for a personal revolution. And I remember the first time that I saw the word revolution written down, and the letters EVOL, they were highlighted in red. And it spells love backwards. Oh, I think that's so cool. I really love that. Because it's all about love, isn't it? Even the revolution, it's about love. So many of us, when we were younger, we did what we were told to do. I know I did. Well, not always. I did get into a lot of trouble. So I guess I learned that, in order not to go to bed early with like water and bread, because that's what you get in prison apparently, and I had that a few times, I learned to do what I was told. I think some of us feel that, we needed to toe the line, rather than keep on rebelling. And, some of us wanted to please. Some of us didn't want to feel like we were disappointing our parents or our guardians. We didn't want them disapproving of us. So, we wanted to please them, and we sought approval from those that were around us because, we wanted to know that we were safe, that we were liked and loved, that, we were acknowledged. And, we wanted to continue being part of the group, part of the family, being part of the gang or the tribe or, whatever it was. And as we've moved into adult life, we've carried forward some of this self-abandoning behaviour in favour of conforming. And we've shown up as the good girl, rather than the empowered, confident woman that you were born to be. And often our mothers did that too, and their mothers before them. When you think about it, women's roles in the world are constantly evolving and changing. Here in the Western world, we have more opportunities and privileges than our maternal ancestors could have ever imagined. I think, if you're honest with yourself, like when you were growing up, could you ever imagine that you would have a computer in your handbag, i.e., your phone? Could you ever imagine that you wouldn't have to go to the library to look something up, that you could get an answer instantly, that you could book a holiday, you could check your bank balance, that you could create a business, that you could be on a training session, like this? We are living in constantly evolving and extraordinary times. And, I personally feel that's a privilege. And I'm sure you do too. But, many of our maternal ancestors, they struggled. They had large families. There were often illnesses in their families. There was a lack of money. There were poor living conditions. Obviously not so much for those that lived in the kind of Downton Abbey kind of world, but the majority of people had poor living conditions. There were times when they wouldn't know whether their loved one was alive or had been killed in a war or on a journey. They lived without the right to vote. Often they weren't able to work, especially when they got married. Women often felt obliged to stop working. They had a lack of education. And, thinking about like my own parents' generation, my mother lived on rations, and perhaps yours did too. But we've grown up without many of these challenges, and yet we often live smaller lives. We put walls up around us, around our desires. And we kind of imprison ourselves. We abandon our truth and the life that we came here to live. Wherever you are right now, like I said earlier, it's not where you need to end up. It's all in your hands. It's all in your hands, my lovely. Wherever you are right now, you can change things. You have the power to do that. Where you are now, it's perfect. It's where you're meant to be right now. It's okay. But I have a strong feeling you're on this webinar with me, so I know you want things to change. I know you want to go for it. So, I have a strong feeling that things are shifting for you right now. And what if it was, possible to do, have, become whatever it was that you wanted? What if it were possible? Because it is. Isn't it more important to live a life that makes you feel excited every day, that makes you feel alive? Isn't it more empowering to know that you're recognizing the inspired opportunities and you do what it takes to make it happen? When you self-abandon in favor of being a good girl, then you're kind of giving up on you. And you know what? You're worth so much more than that. Marianne Williamson said, "Your playing small does not serve the world." Wouldn't you agree that she's right? Yeah. I'm imagining you're nodding with me here. And if this resonates with you, then it's time. It's time for you to explore where you might be self-abandoning. Where you're showing up as the good girl and not the self-empowered girl or woman that you are. Where are you not showing up in your power? Where are you giving your power away? Where are you not living in your truth? And what's causing that? Are you fearing that you're not going to be liked? That you're going to be abandoned or rejected in some way? Because those are honest fears. How are you fitting in and shrinking yourself or your desires to fit in with those around you? How are you abandoning yourself and rejecting your desires? And really, what could you do next? If you've got any questions around this, then just pop them into the chat box, and then I'll have a little look towards the end of our time together today, and I will answer them. I've marked it as private, so hopefully any questions that you ask will just be between you and I, so feel free to put them in the box. So, how to release yourself from the cycle of self-doubting, lack of confidence, the dreaded shoulding, the self-bashing for lack of perceived success. So if you imagine, I was going to get a pen for this. If you imagine that there's a scale, so I've got a piece of paper here but no pen, but if you were to draw a line across your paper, and at one end you draw a heart, and at the other end you do a kind of scribble. Draw that out now, because I think that would be really useful. So a horizontal line, pop a heart at one end, and then a scribble. And I want you to imagine that that is a vibrational, emotional guidance system. It's your emotional scale. And you can use this scale to identify where you are in any given moment. So you can ask yourself, really feel into it, which end are you at of that scale? Is it towards the heart end, or is it towards the scribble end? So the heart end is really represents love, and it represents like that complete, like, oh my God, life is so good. I'm blissed out. I'm so happy. I'm so full of appreciation. Oh, how could it get any better than this kind of feeling? And that scribble end is the kind of like, oh my God, my life completely sucks. It all goes wrong. I feel just total depression. I want to opt out. This is just not good. So where are you? Which end? Where are you on that scale? Somewhere between that love and that scribble. Somewhere along there. And in between both ends, obviously it's like love, and it's like blissful, it's joy, it's happiness, it's feeling content. And towards the other end, it's kind of moving from frustration to anger to guilt to despair to so where are you on that scale? And when you identify where you are on that scale, then you can choose just to move a little bit further towards the heart end. I wouldn't expect you to make a leap from one end to the other. I don't think that's really realistic, but you can always move 1 or 2 steps towards the heart end. Self-doubting and lack of confidence and the shoulding and the self-bashing, those are all lower vibrational emotions and behaviors, and those are all towards the scribble end of the guidance scale. So I'm going to be going into more depth with this when I have my event in January. So I'll be telling you a bit more about that. You might have already booked. I know a lot of you have. And I can't wait to see you there. But it's normal for us to have doubts and, not to feel confident 100% of the time, because we're human. We're not currently, we're not robots. We're not currently non-physical entities. Like, we are humans, and we have we have an ego, we have the spirit, and we have strong feelings, and we have emotions. And life is constantly changing and throwing up all sorts of things for us to work through, grow through, and that kind of thing. So I want you to be assured that I've coached upper six-figure business owners who are clients of mine, and they have experienced massive doubts and lack of confidence at times. And yet once they put themselves back into that self-empowered place, and they're back in the driving seat, if you like, then they feel a sense of determination. They become open to inspiration, and they move back towards the love end, if you like, of that scale. And they become realigned with their desires, and then they can bring them home with ease. And I know that you can do that. You can do that too. And if it feels like, if it feels like something is a should, that you should do it, you ought to do it, and perhaps you feel that it feels heavy inside, or maybe like on your shoulders, it feels like something is weighing you down. Just check in with yourself. Do you really have to do it that way? In fact, do you have to do it at all? Whatever it is it something that you could break down into like smaller pieces and work through one piece at a time? Is it something that you can delegate to somebody else? Someone who could just help you to do it? What are the options that would make it feel less of a should and feel more joyful for you? And think outside of the box. Think outside of the box. And also, I would urge you to think about, the journey, how far you've already come on this journey to, this place that we're in 2016. It's easy to overlook what you've already gained, or what you've already achieved, or the confidence, or I've just watched The Holiday again for Christmas, Jude Law, and they talk about gumption in there, and I'm sure you've got gumption too. You'll have shown that in the past, I'm sure. I bet there are times when you've surprised yourself with what you've been able to do, with your own courage and fortitude, things that you've said no to, and things that you said, yes to, even though inside you might feel a little bit scared. That's the journey. And I want you to, appreciate how far you've come and acknowledge that, because, that's part of the building blocks to create, your new self-empowered 2016 success, whatever success means for you. And if you want your life to be more fun, I want you to notice all the goodness that comes up for you, like day after day, and allow yourself to know and to believe that there is more. There is always more, more to come. Just allow yourself to feel how brilliant that feels. I want to share with you now why you don't need to know more, because that's one of those things that I often see people say, oh, I feel like I need to know more, I need to do more research, or well, I'll do better in my business when I know how to do something, or I'll move once I know more about, not making a commitment to their dreams because they've still got more research to do. And that kind of often has them just like going round and round in circles. So, we want to keep the flow going, with the momentum, and releasing the handbrake so that you can just move forward. Because that's what life's all about. That, obviously, in love and joy. So one of the common excuses, as I say, is that, I hear is, I'm just not ready. Just not ready for that leap yet. Or, I just don't know enough right now. But with that belief, comes the self-permission not to move forward. And that is just not right. That's not how it's meant to be. You see, when you have a desire to do something that moves you forward, you're inspired. You're connected with your spirit. And, you know, that's what that sense of inspiration is. Your spirit creates, and it's your ego. It's that, you know, it's that inner voice. It's that chatter that goes on that tells you that you can't do it, or you're not good enough, or shouldn't, or you don't know enough, you're not ready to take the leap, you're looking for blah, blah, blah. You know, it's that self-critical part, which we all have. It's just trying to protect you. But that's the bit that sabotages your momentum. That's the bit that goes, puts that handbrake on. We don't need that. You're meant to live this full, rich life. So we need to get ahead of that. And this is also where the negative, you know, self-negative self-talk and, you know, just what you're thinking about yourself, that's where it trips you up. Overthinking, going around in circles, you know, being busy and, being busy, I'm working on my business and I'm watching webinars, I'm, reading books, I'm reading blogs, and kind of being busy doing that, but not actually doing it. Or spending a lot of time thinking about, say you want to go on a long vacation, spending a lot of time actually kind of looking at different places and knowing that all you need to do is just decide, and maybe it's just you just put the deposit down. But you kind of go around in circles. Yeah, but what would I do about my children? What would I do about my business? What would I do about this? What would I do about the other? And, just going round and round and round in circles. And you forget to focus on the desire. You forget to focus on what it is that excites you. And you spend all this time just going round and round with, your wheels spinning and not getting any further forward. And that, again, is like putting the handbrake on. And that, again, that's the point where you disqualify yourself from the success that you're meant to experience. You've got the responsibility, only you have the responsibility to ensure that your handbrake is released, for you to move forward. No one else can do that, just you. Get clear on your why, the reason why your desire is important to you, and keep reminding yourself every day. Get super clear on your values and your needs. And again, we'll be spending some time doing that in January at my event. Perhaps you want to relocate to a new country. Get clear on why. What's that going to give you? How does that? How will your life change? And how does it feel when you imagine that you're already there? And what do you need to do next? Perhaps you want to create a business. Why? Why is it important to you? What will it mean for you? How will it support your values and your needs? How will your life change? How do you feel now about it? When you imagine that you're creating your business, money's coming in, you've got clients, and you're making that bigger difference, can you feel what it feels like now to have that level of success? And I'd love you to, be really conscious about the language that you use, because that often is the thing that puts your handbrake on. It's like negative affirmations. So replace any time you say, I can't do that, with I can do that. So I'm not talking here about when somebody's asking you to do something you don't want to do, but I'm talking here about something that actually it would take you closer to your desires, and you would have the momentum to move forward. So anytime you find yourself saying, I can't do that, the way you say I can do that, it's not possible to. It is possible. Or if you catch yourself with a belief that's something like, yeah, but it's really easy for them, I want you to replace that with, it's easy for me. Change your I won't to I will. And that, this is the one that I really don't like. It's the, yeah, whatever it might be, which is always the precursor to another juicy excuse. And we all do it, you know, we all do it lots of the time. And so, like I said before, there's no judgment here. I catch myself doing it. And so I make it, you know, I make a conscious decision to listen to my language so that I'm aware of what I'm saying to myself, what I'm conditioning myself to believe. And I want you to make a stand for what you want, you know, and I want you to be, and so you can watch it grow and blossom. And sometimes you will need to make sacrifices along the way in order to, you know, let your desire breathe life. And sometimes we need to let someone or people go, you know, in order for us to grow. And that just happens. You know, there'll be times when, you know, you'll get an opportunity to go out with friends or to have family over, and you'll need to say no because, you know, your desire, whatever it is that you want, you know, this yes, you can do it, whatever it is that's brought you to this time with me now, you're going to need to say no to some things in order to say yes to what it is that you want. And, you know, as I say, friends might drop away, and that can be really sad. You know, I've had that happen. It can be painful. But it did stop, you know, the pity party going on, you know, the storytelling of how bad everything is and getting stuck in that perpetual cycle. You know, you want to surround yourself with a peer group of people who are also moving forward with their lives, who are continually stretching and growing. Because, you know, you'll be inspired to be around, inspire you. And ultimately, as you start to, you know, grow and stretch yourself, you will also inspire them with your new behaviours. You know, and this was really one of the biggest learnings for me. You know, many of my friends were happy to have me replay my stories, and, you know, in turn, I listened to their tales of woe. But honestly, this kind of pity party just keeps you stuck, small and powerless. And I made the point of seeking out those who were inspiring to me, who, you know, by example showed me another way. I watched them, I listened to them, I helped them, you know, with positive things that they were doing. And I acted as if, you know, I had a sense of, you know, self-assured, what's the right word there? Self-assurance, you know, their self-empowerment. I tried that on the side, you know, I allowed myself to do that. And, you know, through that process, that helped me to become different, to become a more inspiring person to be around. And, you know, I grew just by being available to their presence. And of course, you know, I mentioned earlier that I had a high level coach who challenged me where I was putting up my excuses and where I was, you know, putting my own handbrake on. And sometimes, I'll be honest, it pricked my conscience. And at times it really annoyed me that she could see me, you know, she could really see what I was doing. Sometimes we're not even aware of what we're saying or what we're believing, you know, or what we're, you know, what we're doing for ourselves. Sometimes it takes somebody on the outside to actually see us and catch us out, but in a loving and supportive way for our own good. And you know, I think the commitment of deciding to work at that level with a coach, you know, that commitment, the accountability and paying for her services meant that, you know, I wanted I took responsibility. I wanted to gain the most from our time working together, because sometimes we just can't seem to do it on our own, and that's okay. That's okay to acknowledge that. And if you want to be looking back at your life and what you've achieved at the end of 2016, I'm sure that you want things to have shifted further forward, because they can. And I know that you're ready and that it can happen for you. And sometimes getting coaching seems like a big investment, but isn't your life worth it? Isn't it? And it's not even just about you, is it? It's your children, it's your grandchildren, it might be your nieces, it might be your godchildren. It's that next generation that we can inspire, by being more of who we are. And it's my deep desire that, you get the results that that you're ready to have, to experience. Let me just check if I've got any questions that have come through. I'm going to answer questions towards the end, but let's just have a little looky. Yes, okay. Happy 2016, Heather. I'll just say that now. Right, let me get back to, got some questions, so I will answer those shortly, but it's lovely to see that you're there. So 4 simple steps to quickly bring more joy and creativity into your life and align with your desires. So self-empowerment really means alignment. Alignment with your thoughts, feelings, and inspired actions. Anytime you choose to reconnect with your inner self and feel that sense of joy, that's alignment. So, number 1, be where you're at now, because you're there and it's the perfect place to be. And it is also, the best place to move forward from. And if you know what it is that you want, then you also know what it is. Sorry, I should say that around the other way, really, shouldn't I? If you know what it is you don't want, then you do know what it is that you do want. So get really super clear on what you'd love to be experiencing. And every day, spend time in the energy of what it's like to have that happen. Get into energetic alignment, a matching frequency of what you desire, and feel how good that feels. And when any resistance comes up, let it go and put joyful energy into the feeling of having it now. Number 2, focus on your breathing. Sometimes, we hold our breath. I'm aware that I do that sometimes. I don't know what that's all about. So focus on your breathing. Sometimes it feels really good taking a deep inhale and, really feel your belly filling, or, your lungs filling up, and it makes your belly move outwards when you breathe in, and then to hold it and then let it go. And as you let it go, you feel kind of like your lungs emptying. And if you do that like 3 or 4 times, it's so soothing. Really kind of de-stresses you. So, really, it seems funny to say, practice breathing, because, I know we all do it all the time, but a lot of the time we're not even aware when we're doing it. Because isn't our body just amazing? I have such appreciation for our bodies and the way they work. And, I want you to practice smiling more, breathing and smiling for no good reason. It's kind of crazy not to smile, isn't it? And bring forth a time, a memory where you felt empowered, where you felt determined, where you felt joyful, peaceful, whichever emotion you would like to experience more of. Get into that, just get into that feeling, because that's where inspiration can come through, creativity can come through. Because when you're all scared, contracted, going round in circles, either replaying that old story or just making things tough and difficult, you kind of contract. Inspiration can't flow through, creativity stops. Okay, number 3, make time to do what makes you happy. So like I say, creativity, inspiration, they're going to flow when you're doing something that feels good. So make a list of what makes you feel really happy, and then every day take time to do at least one thing, if not more, from that list. So it could be going for a walk in nature, and not just going for a walk, but look at the ground, look at what you're walking on, look up at the trees, hear the birds, give a tree a cuddle or a hug, because feel the texture of the bark. I often I know it sounds crazy, but I don't care really. I sometimes give a tree a hug and I just feel the strength of it. It's been there forever, or sometimes I go back to the woods where I grew up, and before I had this childhood condition, I used to live in the woods. I was climbing trees and I was swinging around in the trees, and sometimes I go back to those trees and I give them a hug and I think, do you remember me? And I share my secrets with them. They're kind of like the tree of secrets and the tree of knowledge, and I bet they're not just that for me, I bet they're that for other people too. So maybe find a tree that you feel has that sense of strength, it's majestic, that it can hold your secrets. Go and share them if that feels good to you, if it feels empowering to kind of let go of something. A daily meditation, I fit this into my day as often as I can. I'll be honest, I don't do it every day, but I try and do, even if it's just for 5 minutes. There are some great ones that are on YouTube, which you can do, or of course there are ones that you can buy online. So do a meditation, focus on your breathing and just relax yourself. Journaling, of course, is really good for kind of getting it out and getting out the stuff that's going on, but it's also really good for then receiving the downloads that come through you. So have a special journal that you use for that. Yoga is great as well for kind of like releasing and stretching and feeling more flexible. I know both my daughters do a lot of yoga, and that helps them at the start of their day. Some people prefer to go swimming. Some people find joy in drawing, or doodling or painting. And, it doesn't have to be perfect. None of this has to be perfect. It's just a case of playing with it, because, I figure that life is a bit of a game, isn't it? Everything we can deal with in a light-hearted way. Well, most things. We don't have to think, yeah, but what if my picture's rubbish? So what? You're only doing it for yourself. Just enjoy it. Just take the pen or the paintbrush or the pencil for a walk, and it is so much fun, and it's so empowering to give yourself permission to get it wrong, to get it right, to allow it just to be. Some people like to write a poem, and what I found most people get real value out of is feeling a sense of appreciation. And that is something I do before I go to sleep at night. It's also something I do when I wake up, and it always makes me feel so good. So literally say oh, thank you so much for the roof I have over my head. Thank you so much for the clothes that I'm wearing. I'm so grateful for the food in my fridge. I'm so grateful for the love that I have of my friends and family. I'm so grateful for my good feeling good and my healthy body. I'm so grateful and appreciative for this drink I'm about to have. Thank you. Just feeling appreciation for everything that you can, because when you're at that end, I know it's not on here, but if you imagine that heart end of the scale, when you're in appreciation, you're definitely at the heart end and not at the scribble end. That's the end you want to be at. The fourth thing is, music with or without dance is really, it can be really enjoyable. Personally, I like to find a cheesy song that I can listen to, and I might just have a few minutes of bopping around in my kitchen or in the car, have a little bop around, because it gets the body moving, it moves your energy, it shifts you, and that's really good. So, this morning actually I was listening to, do you remember the band from the 80s, Imagination? I don't know why their songs came into my head this morning, but I looked them up on YouTube and had a little boogie around, shifted my energy, which I needed to do because I knew that I was going to be doing this webinar with you. And, I wanted to do whatever it took for me to feel as relaxed and, ready as possible. So, we want to be creative, we want to feel inspired, we want to feel good. What can you do that's going to put you into that kind of energy so you can receive more of what you want to receive? Because, the more inspired, the happier you feel, to take the inspired action that comes to you, you'll feel a greater sense of connection with yourself, a greater sense of determination, and you'll feel more willing to take the inspired action that's going to move you towards your desires. And isn't that really what, that's alignment, that's self-empowerment, and that is what you want, because it's your time, and yes, you can. So how a shift in perception can create the elusive opportunities that you crave and deserve. So as we know, as I mentioned, we can carry down beliefs, through our own experiences. Some have been handed down to us by our family, by society, by culture. And most of them aren't true. A very small percentage of the beliefs that you have are actually true, and that's pretty sobering. Sometimes we can get stuck in the vibe of thinking that it's never going to happen, or I can't do it, and that is just such a limiting belief. Make it your responsibility to identify and explore and turn around your beliefs. Remember that, if what you're wanting is, what somebody else is already living or experiencing, so if you've seen that, in your own family or friends or on YouTube, or, you've read a book, or you just know that somebody else is doing what you want to do, then know that, yes, it's your time and that it can happen for you too. You were born for success. You actually do have a blueprint for that success. And your mind is, very much like a Google search engine. Give your mind a reason to look for something, and it will go ahead and it will find it. Whether it's something positive or whether it's something negative that you don't want to see, because it works both ways. You might have children like me, and remember playing yellow car game. They said to me, every time, Mama, that you see a yellow car, you have to be the first to shout out, yellow car. And if I'm honest, I didn't think that there were that many yellow cars until I played the game. And I was surprised. as the first person that says yellow card then gives the other person, or the others that are playing it, a bit of a tap. Ow! Sometimes, you know, they were a bit hard, but it was fun. And it wasn't that there were more yellow cards out there, you know, than usual. It was just that my brain was now programmed to actually look for them. It's the search engine. And, you know, I recently had, you know, the fabulous opportunity to take a transatlantic crossing from the UK over to New York, social media. And I had lots of friends letting me know that they also had taken that crossing. But before that, I didn't even know anyone had, you know, I didn't think that I knew anyone that had experienced that crossing. So if you're focusing on a sense of, you know, not enough in any area, you know, then lack here and there is going to show up. And you're going to see it, you know, in your experience, because your mind is going to seek it out if you focus on the negatives. And it's going to feel like, you know, there's never enough, never enough. You'll always be in lack. But if you choose to seek out the positive, you'll begin to see that too. You know, other positive people who are growing and stretching themselves, then, you know, you're going to see that, you're going to experience that. And when we see someone achieving what we desire for ourselves, it can be, you know, it can be anything. It could be, you know, someone in the perfect, what seems to be the perfect relationship. It could be, you know, again, they've moved overseas. It could be success in a business. It could be somebody making lots of money or having great family times. You know, we can move into jealousy. You know, that comparison thing kicks in. That kind of thing, you know. And then after we've kind of moved into jealousy, then we can make ourselves wrong instead of moving into what is possible for us too. And again, no judgment, because I've done it too. We've all done it. It's all part of life's, as my mother would say, life's rich tapestry. So, you know, allow yourself to have a shift in perception, because I know it's possible for you, and you're on the verge of making it happen. Can you feel it? I can feel it. You're with me now, you're watching this. And that is a positive step towards the future that you would love to be experiencing. You can do this, my lovely, from wherever you are right now, no matter how it seems right now. You can do this. You've got this. It's possible for you. And I can help you to take the next step. So, my wish, as I said, is that, you know, that you've received insights. You know, maybe this time together has awakened something in you. You know, maybe it's something you'll go away and reflect on, and something will, you know, trigger something for you that's going to help you to move forward. Because I know you're open for transformation. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here right now with me. So, you know, be open, receive the downloads, you know, look at your notes, listen to this again, you know, and I really hope that and trust that, you know, something has shifted for you. And I would love to invite you to come and meet me in London for my event in January. It's really all about, you know, self-empowerment, and it's a live event. It's on the 29th of January. And it is like a follow-up really to this session that we've just done together. And it's going to be in person. It's going to be you and me and a small group of people. One big mass event. It's not one big rah-rah, you know, high-fiving event. This is us. This is us in a safe environment. It's going to give you a boost of, you know, loving, spiritual and practical support to help you move forward. Well, we're going to be tapping into your intuition. In order to stay aligned and clear on your desires, being in a high vibration is essential. Old patterns and habits can, resurface again. And sometimes at first you don't even realize that that's happening. And yet, when you surround yourself with others who are really making a stand for their success and for their desires, it's so much more easy and fun to stay, on this new path that you're on and not return to the old one, the old worn path that you always end up going back down because it's the easy one, it's the option now, it's the one that disqualifies you, and it's the one that your ego wants you to go down. We don't want to be doing that. So come to my events and hang out with these other women and myself who are moving forward. So as I say, it's going to be, it's on the 29th of January. It's in this most iconic hotel in Mayfair. It's going to be very special. It's going to be an intimate day. The hotel is called the Stafford Hotel. And we're going to create together, really beautiful energy that's going to have you feel safe to open up to what is possible for you. And the day is going to be focused very much on your personal development. Whether you're a career woman, whether you're a stay-at-home mum, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a grandmother, whether you're single, whether you're married, this is for you. And I'm going to be sharing the top self-empowerment foundational principles, which I've discovered over my many years of working with some amazing women. And what I've done, this is the first time that I've actually put all of these together in a really beautiful and practical way. I've never shared these before, like this. So you're going to be able to identify if you are using these to disempower yourself, and I'll be supporting you to make some new choices and to reset your beliefs about what is possible for you. So all you need to do is book your place. So you need to go to www.alisoleil.com/self-empowerment-live-event. So that's alisoleil.com/self-empowerment-live-event. But I'll also be sharing the link with you. So there are limited places because it's my desire to keep this event as intimate as possible. And many of the places have already been taken. So I urge you, if you would like one, secure your place now. And there's an even better reason to do it now, because right now there's an early bird which is available until Wednesday the 13th of December. So you have 1 week to book your place and get that discount. And on that page, if you have a look, scroll down and you'll see what my clients are saying. Their words are on the page and they will share with you how I've helped them and how ultimately I can help you, in this beautiful and powerful day. So all you have to do is make a decision, make an empowered choice for your future and book your ticket. You didn't come into this time-space reality to allow life to kind of just like wash over you. You came for so much more than that. You came to experience the desires which you have, So make a stand for the life and join me and a small group of high vibrational women who, just like you, are ready to take the next step. And of course, if you're not able to come to my event, but you would love to have, a complimentary discovery call with me to explore how I can help you to gain a greater sense of self-empowerment and achieve your desires more quickly, then, just send me an email or drop me a message through Facebook and, inquire about a self-discovery session and, we'll get that sorted out too. So I'm going to have a little looky now and see what questions I have got that have come in. So let me just bear with me for a second. So I just go over there. Okay, so if you've got any questions, please just share them. Okay. So somebody here says, sometimes I'm very much more on the heart side and other days at the scribble end. Sometimes hour to hour and not just day to day. Okay, that's perfect. Because that proves that you're not a robot. That is so normal. That is so normal. And, really, it is just about, I'm going to hold it up. I know that I haven't drawn it, but, it is just about choosing to be at this end and doing whatever it takes to move to the heart end of that spectrum, of that, emotional scale. So just keep checking in with yourself. Just keep, being aware of how you're feeling, and, just take little shifts to move further and further towards the heart end. Some people have, that I know, have had watches. Actually, I don't know if anybody uses those now, but, like alarms on watches. I'm sure the iPhone does it, the iWatch or whatever it's called does it. But, set on your phone, like an alarm that goes off. It could go off every hour or 2 hours or even every 20 minutes, and just take time to just be in the moment. I was saying earlier about practicing your breathing. Just get centered and feel into, how do you feel right now? What emotion are you feeling? What could you release? And what could you do that would make you feel, feel more joyful? So maybe it's just to take that 5-minute break and, go and stick on S Club 7 or, what's he called, that song with Happy? His name's gone out of my head. You can put it in the chat box if you want. But Pharrell Williams, thank you for that. So, do whatever you can do just to take responsibility for just shifting yourself just a little way forward to feeling better and get into that groove. Somebody else is saying, sometimes they think that they're flawed in some way. Maybe there's something in their genes. That kind of makes me feel a bit sad to think that you might feel that way, but I totally resonate with it at the same time, because I do remember feeling that, actually. I feel a little choked now. I do remember feeling that way as well. And I remember one day when I was really in the depths of despair, when things really weren't going so well. And I remember my brother had come round. Oops, that's my earpiece. My brother had come round, and he was helping me put together a spreadsheet of my current outgoings and, my debts. And it was not a joyful time, I can tell you. I was definitely at the scribbly end of that emotional scale. But what I do remember is that, after he pissed me off, to be honest, a little bit, just by highlighting how bad things were, I do remember that he said to me before he left, Al, you've barely scratched the surface of what you can achieve. Things are looking up for you. And he went, and I just remember thinking, wow, okay, someone believes in me. And I also remember thinking that maybe that's true. Maybe that is true. Maybe I have barely scratched the surface. Maybe, the sum total of what I'd achieved to that point was just up till that point. It wasn't my future. It was kind of in the past. It was behind me. And so, you know, if you're feeling like there's a gene or, you know, you're feeling flawed in some way, then I would really, you know, I would really like you to just, you know, let that go, just to relax about that and know that you're not flawed in any way, that, you know, things are going the way that they are going, and that anytime you can take a stand for your success, you know, do some of the things that we've talked about today in this webinar and start shifting your vibration. Take responsibility every day to shift forward. You know, you're not flawed. You've got a blueprint for success. You know, I often think about, you know, the weeds that we see that are growing, you know, in pathways. You know, they're growing whether they've got the perfect soil or not. They're making it happen. And whatever your circumstances are right now, you know, believe me, you can shift them to create exactly what it is that you want for yourself. So, have we got any more questions? I don't think we do have any more questions that have come through. But of course, if you do, then please put them onto the Global Fab Friends Forum on Facebook, which I hope you're already on there, or send me a private message, and I will be happy to respond to you. Okay, so really that leaves me to, you know, thank you again for joining me for this training session tonight. And, you know, I trust that you've heard something which has given you the shift that you wanted to find tonight, or that over the coming days that you really feel into that. And most of all, you know, I want you to remember that it really is your time. You know, this is your life, and it's all there to play for, you know, from this moment. And as my brother said to me, you've barely scratched the surface of what you can achieve. Yes, you can do this. So join me on the Global Fab Friends Forum on Facebook. And I look forward to seeing you at my event in London. So this is Soleil signing out and sending you so much love.